Hi, thanks for watching. This is Mike Quinn. Have fun, make art with Mike Quinn. This is my studio and my little workshop, and I want to show you some really cool project today we're going to work on. I'm going to do a stingray, and simple tools, simple process. Should just take a few minutes, and I'm going to go ahead and get started. There's some basic tools we're going to use. We got the little fettling knife, this wooden cutter, and a poker tool, a slip. I like to have like a wet, moist towel that I can wipe my hands with. And then I just have a piece of wire that I set up to cut the clay. And also I got this piece of newspaper that I've already crumpled up. That's all it is newspaper. Just kind of mashed it into this oblong shape. So what I'll do is I'm going to set this here. And then estimate, how big that's going to be. So I'll come over here and cut a piece of clay about that big. Then it's a little skinnier on this edge and fatter here. So I'm going to say that's going to be like the front of it. Make some room. Sideways. A little bit this way. I want to get it thinned out, but not too thin where it's going to be fragile or too flimsy to want to hold its shape. Okay. So that's a pretty good trick to just use the square of the piece of clay, and then I kind of make that into this diamond. And then I'm just going to do it real quick. Shaving off these edges. And then I'm gonna take that piece that I just rolled out, maybe soften this edge first. Then take my piece of newspaper, slide it in place. Well, it's not really like a stingray anymore. So that's one of the beautiful things about building like this is you're really not stuck making one particular thing. So what I'll do is I'm gonna just turn this into a squid. So we'll go for a squid since it looks more squid-like to me. I'll just kind of point that. I'll mark our eyeballs here, roundabout. And I'm gonna face that way. And squid have pretty big eyes, I would say. So I'm gonna make this ball. Carefully cut it in half. And then I'm gonna scratch up here where we made the mark. Scratch the backs. Add just a little slip. Check the configuration. There we go, so we give it some eyeballs. Just wet my thumb a little bit and come back and smooth those out. Get those little tiny scuff marks out of it. And then we're going to do eyebrows. And just kind of bend that over your fingers. Lay it in here like that. Smooth it. You just what I call melding instead of welding. You just smooth it in really good. Make that connection solid. Compress it a lot. And that's with no slip. But this is a decorative piece. It's not like a coffee cup that you use every day. It's just going to be decorative. So we can skip the slip on the eyebrows. I'm just going to round this one out. I like to make that line go kind of with the other one, so they match. Just carefully just come back and meld that together. Just come back and smooth it out just a bit more. Then I'm gonna just do a little bead of clay. Another little one. And I think on a squid they have those little, it's like a jet. I'm just gonna pop these little holes in here and kind of show the little jet power. Just trying to rub out these fingerprints and any bumps and stuff. Newspaper works really good as your form because it absorbs the water, and the clay can shrink and it's not going to crack on there because it'll actually compress with it. Whereas if you use a rigid slump mold, it'll have a tendency to want to crack if it's got a overhang and it's hanging onto it. Oh, looks like I bumped that, but no problem. Back and touch it up. I could give him some expressive eyebrows, or what would you call that? Worry lines. So we just mark it and then come back and smooth it out a little bit. Going, just looking for any rough spots and working it all smooth. Then a lot of times I'll come back with this and just to really make that stick. Go a little wild with my tool there, but that's okay. You can just always fix it. So then we got the body, got the eyes, and we're gonna give them some life. Now I'm gonna add the tentacles. So to do that, just do this little cone shape. Slap it down. I'll put this in place here. They don't have to be exactly the same, but just kind of get a rhythm, the size, and get them pretty close. You gotta think, okay, you gotta do your research, figure out how many legs do they actually have. On a squid, I'm not sure if it's 8, but this is the frontal view. I think if we can get at least 5 on there, it'll look respectable. Most people don't know that fact either, so. But it's good to do your research, at least know how many there's supposed to be. But that's a pretty decent start. And then I'm gonna get my slip and start attaching my legs. Let's see, and the way I'll do that is I'll just take them all off at the same time and lay them in a row, so I know the sequence. So this is the first one. Scratch that up. Scratch this up. Put some slip. And we're gonna just attach that one. Same thing there. And just meld that edge. I just really do a solid connection on these because these are going to be pretty fragile and you don't want them to break easily. So I really make sure those connections are good. Come back and scratch this up. The proper term would be to score. Slip and score is the common language. So here we go. We got 3 legs on. Scratching it up. Put a little slip. This other one. Scratch it up. Get some slip. Just make those connections as solid as you can. And this is a great way to give them a lot of life, is by how you can shape these things around. Make him look, he's really busy doing something. And then this little piece actually converts into the beak because they actually have a beak. I've been bitten by a squid before and it's not a good experience. But the beak is pretty sharp. And it was a tiny one, but it still hurt. So here we go. Just come here and do that little angle in the edge of his jaw. And then we'll just cut him out. And then we come back and we'll add some tentacles on here, but our suction cups. Add the suction cups on there, and that'll really help it look a little more realistic. But there you have it. That's the basic squid for just to get it going. Come back and fix all this stuff. That's one of the important things, is you want to always look at it from every angle, because it's easy to miss something if you're not looking at the very edges. Okay, so this is the general squid design here. Started out pretty nicely. Actually, when I started, I was going to make a stingray, and that happens, and I think that's actually good to have the freedom to be able to switch horses and just say, hey, it looks more like a squid. And so just coming back, and I'm going to finish smoothing it out. And also, one of the things I want to add are the little suction cups. Show you how to do that. So this will basically sit like that. So I scuff it up. Scuff it up. It's kind of a tedious little process to get a bunch of these, but the end result is worth it. It looks really nice, neat. So then you stick it on with the slip, and you kind of tap it, and then you take the pointer tool and just roll it in there, and it really makes it like a suction cup. So we'll do another one, And I like to do the bigger ones in the beginning and then go smaller as you go up. So we're gonna scratch this up. Touch, no, that's too much slip. Because you really see the slip on the edge. If it's sticking out, I always come and nick it off of there. Because you'll see that if you don't move that slip, it'll be in the final piece. Basically all the way down to your fingerprint. Anytime you touch the clay, it's going to react. So you got to just be deliberate when you're making the pieces, but every time you have to be measured. Here we go, scratch that up. Just a tiny bit of slip. And then stick it on. Close. Okay, so that's about it on suction cups. Well, I gotta smooth this one out. It's got a little bit of getting close though. Okay, so there we go. We've got the final suction cup. Decent little pose. Go back and touch up any of this marks on it. And I can move it over and put it on some paper so we can let it dry real slow. carefully forward. And then I'll just pose these tentacles, kind of the final pose. Looks like it's holding the shape pretty well. I'm just looking for any rough spots, any bumps, or like this is kind of not real finished out. Okay, so let's see. Oh, we could do some texture. It's always fun. So we could just do like kind of down the center here. Then I was going to do this texture tool, which I really like. And let's see, we'll just do a little strip down the middle. Like that. Give them some actual skin. So there we go. You can always kind of prop it up, pose it a little more. It was an accidental squid. We started off as a stingray. That happens sometimes. I think I'm going to build one thing, and then I start it, and I realize, oh, it looks more like a squid. But it, you know, I like the happy accidents. So I'll take it. I like it. And I hope we inspired you to build your own piece. And you can see that it's just simple tools. You know, there's no magic to it other than just to keep working and work through that ugly stage.